Hey, good morning. Welcome to Greenlake Vapor. Hey, today we're going to be talking about the Cleo. And the Cleo tank itself has, a couple different coils that you can operate it in. We're going to focus in on the 0.2 and the 0.4. I've heard a lot of series and, scenarios on, hey, this is the best way to do this, the best way to do that. What we're going to talk about today is wattage, flavor curve, and we're going to talk about priming. Now, on the Cleo, the Cleo tank, it comes with a 0.2 and a 0.4 ohm coil. Those are great coils. I use them all the time. I love them. I prefer to use the 0.2 ohm myself. Now, in theory, on these coils, you have to go back to wattage versus the flavor curve profile. So, you see my hands up and down here. I'll explain that to you in a minute. Now, on a 0.4 ohms, you have to go back to the basic theory of wattage. So 0.4 ohms is equal to 40 watts of peak power to achieve the ultimate quality flavor of your juice profile. And on the flip side of that, once you pass the 40 watts on the 0.4 ohm coil, you start losing the flavor quality. The best way I can describe it is you're going to start tasting grandma's burnt cookies. That's the best way I can explain that one to you. Jumping over to the 0.2 ohms. Now 0.2 ohms, you can crank that up to 60 watts peak power to achieve ultimate flavor profile on your profile curve. And again, once you go past that, then it starts getting like grandma's burnt cookies again. And I don't really like grandma's burnt cookies. A lot of people have said, hey, Dennis, what's the best way to do this with our coils? Because every time I go to prime my coil, I pour it through the top, and at the top of the coil, and the coil only lasts like 2 or 3 days, and it starts tasting really burnt. Well, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to pour my juice out, and I'm going to put a fresh coil in here, and we're going to run another 0.2 ohm coil. Now this is a brand new coil that I just put in, so I'm going to throw another one in just for shits and giggles so I can show you exactly how this is done. Again, we have a 0.2 ohm coil. See, we're going to slap that in there. And the other nice thing with the Cleos is you can put the tank on just like so. Let's get this on the right way here. And I can just pour. I love pouring. Look at that. So now again on the Cleo, to properly prime this is a fresh coil. We're going to take this, we're going to screw the top on, we're going to draw 3 times. We're also going to make sure that the airflow on here, if you can see that, it's choked. That means I've got a pinhole. So we're going to take 3 long pulls and then crack the top. The other nice thing about this is you get a free head rush out of it. Make sure you breathe a little bit, otherwise you're going to keel over. Now again, we're going to crack the top. You'll see that there's small air bubbles. I don't know if you can see that on there or not, but there's small air bubbles that are coming up. And you got to remember that the Cleo coil has cotton winding in there that's tightly packed. It's got to be perforated, which means that you have to cause a vacuum effect on the inside of that tank, which is what we're doing by the draw. Now we're going to take another 3 draws and then do the same process. Typically, I can extend the life of my coil anywhere between 3 to 5 days longer by priming it like this. As a shop owner, I have to go through and find the best way to prime these coils. This does not necessarily work with like the Atlantis or the Triton coil or the Crown coil for that matter. It does work with the Ego AIO coils. One more draw. So we got one more draw. Now we're going to crack this open, and again, you're going to see those little air bubbles coming up. That's what you want to see. And I usually open it up about 3 turns. And here we go again. 1, 2, 3. you'll also notice that the juice level is actually dropping in there. Another good sign that we're saturating the cotton. Usually it doesn't take this long because I'm not talking. Okay, crack her open again. You'll see more small air bubbles coming up. And I'm going to do this one last time. The reason why I do it 3 times or repeat the process 3 times, it's because not every cotton packing is going to be the same. And a lot of times you can get that dry hit in there. And of course, at the cost of coils on this, you don't want to dry hit it. The other thing to remember is we're not hitting the fire button on here. Okay, so that's 3. Again, you can see some more of those little air bubbles are trickling around in there. Okay, so now we're going to hit the button. You'll see that I'm hitting at 40 watts. This is a 0.2 ohm coil. Now, like I said earlier, you can take it up to 60 watts. I personally like the preference of 40 watts to 42 watts on this coil with this, the RX 200. So I'm going to open the choke just a little bit so it's got some airflow. This way I can still get the vacuum effect in there a little bit. I want to make sure that it's going to saturate properly. So here we go. Now that there was a very nice, clean draw. There was no burning sensation. There wasn't a throat hit or a harsh hit. Nothing of that nature in there. Just a very good flow of flavor. Now a lot of people, they like more air and less flavor, which means bigger clouds. That's fine. Whatever's up to you, whatever you like, you do it your way, man. That's what this is about. It's about you enjoying your product. But again, this is to give you a longer lifespan on your coil and, to make it last longer. And again, you take these Cleos and drop juice down in the middle because usually within a 2-day time period of doing that, the coil's fried. You get grandma's burnt cookie taste again, and it's not good for you. Well, it's not good for your tongue anyhow. I don't know any other part. But again, we're talking about the Cleos. Now, flavor profiles again, 0.2 ohms is equal to 60 watts. I'll give you a clear breakdown of this here. 0.5 ohm coils are equal to 30 watts of peak power to achieve the ultimate flavor profile. 0.4 ohms is equal to 40 watts to equal the peak flavor profile. 0.3 ohms is equal to 50 watts to achieve the ultimate flavor profile. 0.2 ohms is equal to 60 watts to achieve the ultimate flavor profile. So, there's a little bit of Ohm's law going into this and a lot of trial and error. I've been doing vaping now for a little over 4.5 years. And I've experimented with a lot of products that are on the market and the do's and don'ts. So, that's what I got for you guys today on YouTube. I hope you have a great time. Again, my name's Dennis Nelson. I'm with Greenlake Vapor in Seattle, Washington. I hope you have a great day and enjoy vaping. Thanks.